family. Welcome to another episode of Soulful Conversations with Uncle Frank and
Auntie Sheila.
How y'all doing? We have to ask. We do that every time because we want to make sure you all are doing well.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So we're back with another episode. And before we get into it, I want to thank all of the new subscribers. Y'all are rock. Y'all are rock. I think we're like 480 right now, you know.
Pressing our way to 1,000. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. And you know what? As part of our Thanksgiving, like I said, we always say we want to start from a place of gratitude, right? So we appreciate all the folks who watch, but we need you to go ahead and make the commitment to be part of our soulful family.
Yeah.
You come, you peek, watch, you pop in, but come on and be part of our soulful community. Come on and be part of our soulful community. It's no need. Look, if you go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell, you find out first.
Right.
When we've produced something new.
Hit the bell.
When a reel comes out or when a short comes out, you find out first. So come on and be part of our soulful community. It's an invitation. We want you to join us.
Because y'all know Miss Sheila be dropping them jewels. Like, bing, 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 bing. I'll be like, yes, baby, baby.
baby.
All right. So what we're going to get, again, we thank you.
Yes.
We want to get into today's episode.
Yes.
So today's episode is titled Detoxing Your Relationship. How do you detox your relationship? So we want to jump right into a question like what if there was a way you could detox your relationship? Have you ever heard of detoxing a relationship? We detox our bodies.
Yes.
And
hopefully you understand how important that is, right?
Yeah.
So you consume a lot.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I was surprised to learn about detoxification is that it isn't just about what you intentionally digest, but it's also about the things that enter in through environmental means. Like just because you're in the space, just because you're in the environment, like you don't have to be a smoker to smell like a smoker. You just have to be around a smoker. So if somebody is smoking, and no offense to the smokers, be set free as you are ready in the mighty name. But if you are around somebody that smokes, and you're not a smoker, guess what happens? If you go into a different environment, someone says, "Oh, you been smoking?"
Nah.
It just happens, right? So the detoxification process isn't just about what you intentionally ingest. It's also about the things that you pick up through your environment, through relationships, and through other connections.
See, y'all, them jewels, man. Them jewels, that ain't scripted. I'm just telling y'all.
I love him.
I love her, too. Okay, we got to finish this first.
Yes, please.
Woo-woo. But so let's get into the number one thing. Detox your relationship or marriage by forgiving each other. That's a hard one.
It is.
And that whole detoxification process on this particular one relates to clearing out resentment. And we talked about resentment in one of our other episodes.
And I know that I've been promising y'all a whole video about that. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it because this keeps coming up around bitterness and resentment and anger and all of that thing. But, we've all seen the meme that says unforgiveness is like you swallowing the poison and expecting the other person to die, right? So forgiveness is one of those I feel like forgiveness is one of those overused terms where we're so busy talking about it that we don't actually do it, right? We're so busy talking about what forgiveness means and what it costs, right? But that we never talk about the benefits.
Yeah.
And if you're going to talk about detoxification, which is getting the impurities out, Unforgiveness is an impurity.
It is.
It is an absolute impurity in your relationship, and you have to work, you have to set an intention, and then you have to be consistent about keeping unforgiveness out.
Yeah. And what you want to do with that is, take the positive steps to work on that forgiveness. It's not easy, but take those positive steps in the direction to forgive. All right. You want to hit number 2?
Well, I want to stay on forgiveness
Go
a little
ahead.
longer.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Do your
Because
thing.
I think this is one of those places where we get stuck. We think because we moved on that we forgave, and we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So just because you go ahead and fix his plate, or you go ahead and have sex, or because you go ahead and put gas in her car or make sure her car is clean, it doesn't mean you actually forgave. It just means you moved on. Forgiveness takes intention. It takes intention, right?
Does.
And it takes intention with the mindset that if the behavior doesn't change, I refuse to carry this poison in my body. I refuse to carry this poison in a relationship, and I refuse to allow it to be the filter through which I deal with you.
Right, right.
So all of that is so heavy, and it's what makes forgiveness hard, right? But it is a decision. It is a choice. It is an action. It's a verb.
Right.
And you don't have to feel it to do it.
And it takes
It's a decision.
And it takes some serious and hard conversations.
Honest
Honest
conversations.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that it takes is changed behavior.
Yeah.
Because you can forgive people, or someone can say, I'm sorry. Someone can apologize. But if they apologize with their words, but their behaviors haven't changed, then it makes it extra hard to forgive. And yet the decision to forgive rests with you. So yes, that's a whole nother show. We can do a whole nother show about forgiveness, boo.
I know we can.
Oh, because I feel it running through my body right now. But okay, we're going to move on.
Whenever you're ready to move on to number 2.
Okay. So number 2, and we just also want to say that a lot of the tips and the things that we offer to you guys is based on research that we've done, right? So we're always reading, we're always studying,
right?
We're always looking at books and articles and studies. And I'm the geek, but I want to tell you guys that Frank has really been doing a lot of research. And I send him articles and he sends me articles, and we have these conversations, like, what do you think about this? And this, that, and I geeked you. I geeked you. I geeked you. Okay. That's a whole thing. That's a cool thing. But it's not just based on our feelings.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we want you to know that when we come to these conversations, these soulful conversations with you all, it's not just based on our feelings. Like, we've researched, we've done the work, and we want to share with you what works. We want to share with you those things that allow you to go back and have a soulful conversation with your own partner about how you can make it better. Right? Okay.
Right.
So number 2, you can detox your marriage by being honest. And we kind of just alluded to that with the honest conversations, right? So we want you to be honest. There's a difference between being honest and being hurtful. There's a way to be honest that isn't hurtful. You don't have to slash someone with your words in an effort to be honest.
Yeah.
You can be honest with care and compassion in a way that reminds your partner that, hey, I love you, and this is why I need to share this with you.
Right.
This is why I need to share my heart with you. This is why I need to be real, honest, and transparent with you. Because if we're going to grow together, this thing has to be addressed.
Yeah.
Right?
And that honesty,
you got to ask for it too.
Yeah.
Like, you can't assume. It's one thing to say, oh, well, you should just tell the truth because you should just tell the truth. Sometimes you have to say, you know what, be honest with me, babe. How do you really feel about this? How do you really feel about the fact that I just went shopping and spent $200? Like, I had it. I felt like I had it, but how do you feel about that? It's funny. My engine light is on.
Check engine.
My check engine light was on. And so I was looking at cars, and I look at cars every week. I look at houses every week, but I have to be honest and say, you know, are you offended that I'm doing that? Like, I don't want you to think that just because I'm looking at a car that means I want to go buy a car. I look at cars because that's part of my self-care. Like, I look at cars, I look at houses. It keeps me from going to open houses and keeps me from test driving cars because I can just sit on my iPad and I can see all the things, right?
Because I asked, I was like,
yes, he said, are you trying to buy a new car? And I said, no, like, I'm just looking, like, because it's part of what I do.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you want honesty, you have to ask for it. And then you also have to be ready for what that honesty can bring to the relationship.
Yeah.
So when you say to somebody, does it bother you that I spend money? Does it bother you that I hang out with my boys every Sunday during football season? You have to be prepared for what that answer could bring. The truth sets us free. It sets us free.
It does.
But it shouldn't just set free the teller. It should set free the hearer of the same truth.
Yeah. And those little fudges and, things like that, little bitty lies and untruths, they can become a sneaky little cancer.
Yeah,
in the
little cancer.
In the relationship. Oh. And before you know it, it's manifesting its way in a bad way. And then it's real hard because now trust is an issue. Can I trust you now that I done found out you've been lying to me?
And little white lies count.
Little white lies.
Little white lies count, and little black faux pas count. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's all this. It's all the same. And just because it isn't a gargantuan lie doesn't mean it doesn't have the potential to be hurtful.
Yeah, because what the old folks say: tell the truth and shame the devil.
Tell the truth.
That's what the old folks say when we was growing up. Tell the truth and shame the devil. So that's number 2, which is detox your marriage by being marriage or relationship by being honest with your partner.
Okay. You got
all right. So number 3 is inspire change. And so what we mean by that is, I like this one, arranging a detox date. You have if you have your date nights, you can have that particular night where you set aside to kind of hash out through some things, to set the stage for healthy conversation.
Healthy.
And then work on some things and have a discussion, a soulful conversation about some things. Like we mentioned a few minutes ago about being honest and truthful. Just kind of laying them out and say, here's some things that I feel we can work on, and then build a conversation from there. So that's your detox date. I mean, I'm not saying you got to do it every week, but just have your detox date. Set one of those date nights aside and have that conversation.
And that conversation can be about challenges, right? So what challenges have you and your partner faced in the last 30 days, in the last 60 days? I don't want to stereotype anybody, and I always want to put that disclaimer out there. I don't want to stereotype anybody, but I think that if you've been in a relationship any length of time, it's not hard to determine who's the person who holds on to stuff and who's the person who's quick to let things go, right? And sometimes the person who is holding on to something really just needs to see an effort towards change.
Yeah.
I wouldn't keep holding this against you if you would just go ahead and at least make an effort. Not that you have to do a whole 180 in one episode, but are you even trying?
Are you trying?
Are you trying to meet me halfway on this? Are you trying to hear my heart about why this upsets me, or why this offends me, or why this hurts me, right? And so, just being able to say, this is a part of our relationship that I don't like.
Yeah.
And while I don't want you to stop being your authentic self, is there some compromise? Is there an opportunity for us to do some things differently, to experience change in this way for the betterment of our relationship?
I think that about covers the inspiring change.
Yes.
Do what you want.
Do what you need.
Do what you need.
Do what you want kind of scares me, because people want different stuff at different seasons of the relationship. But what is needed? Do what you need. What do you need? And are you honest enough to say, this is what I need from you right now?
Yeah. Because we talked about the evolving and all the change. Yeah, you can do that.
Can I tell on us?
Yeah.
So
she always does anyway. So thanks for asking, though.
I'm trying to change, right?
Inspiring change.
So I can't remember if this was this week or last week, but it was a particularly rough time.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, "What do you need from me?"
Yeah. I'm learning. Yeah.
You said, "What do you need from me?" And I said, or you said, "Do you need a cuddle session or something?" You said something.
That was a text.
That was a text.
Yeah.
But I think before that, the week before that, you said, "What do you need?"
Yeah.
And I said, "I need to lay with you."
Yeah.
And so I came home, got all of the work, all of the day off of me, and we just climbed into bed and held each other. Or he held me. You held me.
Yeah.
It wasn't me holding you because I was the one going through. But you held me. And being able to be honest, that's a change for us.
Right.
Because before, not that you wouldn't hold me if I asked you,
Right.
but before, it was when I got home, no matter what kind of day I had, I still had to check on the kids. I still had to look at homework. I still had to cook. I still had to do all of those things. And we're in a different season of life now. When I come home, it's just you and me.
Right.
And so it was easier to say, can we just lay in the bed? Can we not think about dinner? Can you not ask me what's for dinner? Can we just, for a minute, can I get a minute? And, those are the types of things that detox out maybe former habits that you had about how you operate when one or the other isn't having a good day or isn't in a good place.
Right.
And it inspired some change.
Yeah.
And so just you asking, and me being vulnerable enough to say, this is what I need from you, I think inspired some change.
I mean, and just on that, I'll add to it, like when we, knowing that our youngest would be leaving home and it would just be us, and, I'm cool just chilling at the crib. That's just me. But I knew that, Sheila she's an introvert. She likes to go out. She likes interaction.
I'm the extrovert. You're the
extrovert. I'm sorry, extrovert. And she likes to go out and have interaction. So I had, months before, I had began preparing myself that we would have to start going out more and doing more things, and being more sociable, and not that I don't be sociable, but it's just,
or don't like it.
It's just that I knew that that's something that she needed and that I had to put myself in a position and a posture to begin to do those things. And so inspiring the change.
Yes. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to encourage you guys to, not jump to your partner and say, you need to change, but take some introspection time, take some reflection time, and think about what change you are inspired to make as a result of this part of this conversation, and how you can introduce that to your spouse in a way that doesn't make them go, what's wrong with you? But, why are you acting different? But it can be a gradual, this is who we're becoming in our relationship. And I hear you, I see you, I recognize when you're struggling or when you're hurting or when you need something different from me, and I want to support you in that way.
And I want to add one thing to the point that you said about the cuddle session, and I did this intentionally, and you didn't say that. We were on top of the covers.
Clothed.
And so, and that was intentional because I know sometimes, your mind and your psyche plays tricks on you, and you go places, and he getting in the
this
covers.
This
will lead into sex,
right? And
not
that that's a bad thing.
Not just a bad thing, but I knew for where you were in the day that you had that I was not trying to put that position there at that moment. Now, so it was on top of the covers with all those wonderful pillows that you have on the bed.
Because I am the person that has 50 million pillows on the bed.
So I just want to make that point. So we're going to go to our next one, which is yours, but I will give it it's recommitment.
So this is a powerful point because we just renewed our vows. All right. And you don't have to wait 25 years to recommit. You can recommit on a Saturday, on a Tuesday at 4:00 that you're going to do better.
Yeah.
Or recommit that these vows are sacred and solemn and mean something to you, and that it doesn't have to take a tragedy. It doesn't have to take, we have so many people that we love who have either recently lost their mate or who are walking alongside their mate and suffering because of illness or death of a loved one or whatever. And you know, we're going to do a series on these vows. We already started. We already sent the email out to people saying, hey, you know, will you do in sickness and in health? Will you do for better or for worse? Will you do for richer or for poorer? So be on the lookout for that. But this idea of recommitment, you know, there's something that I'm certain that we've said this in previous podcasts. I do every day.
Yeah.
That every day you're saying, I do. I do. I do. It's not just the date that you got married that you say I do, but you are literally sometimes recommitting every day when it's hard, when it's rough, when your spouse is sick, when there's money in the bank, when there's no money in the bank, when times are good and when times are bad, you know, when you're up on the mountaintop and everything's wonderful, and when you're in the valley and you're struggling in the dark and you can't see your way.
Right.
This idea of recommit, that you make and set an intention to prioritize each other over everything else that life brings, that life throws at you. We don't have any control of the drama, the trauma, the stress, and the strain that comes. But what we can do is make an intentional effort to say, no matter what happens, I'm with you.
Right.
I'm sticking with you.
Right.
No matter what happens, I'm sticking with you. And sometimes that's a verbal affirmation, and sometimes it's an inward commitment. But it lands different, ladies and gentlemen, when you can look at your spouse in the middle of the worst of it and say, but I got you. And I'm here. And I'm not going anywhere. And this is us until the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah, I was reading something the other day. You was talking about the whole research part, and they were talking about 4 powerful words, and those words were, I got your back. And just hearing those words, you know, in that article, the person said it was a dynamic shift for their relationship. And this was someone who was dating someone and was looking to see this person as a potential, you know, life mate. And upon hearing those words, when the situation happened, they were like, yeah.
It makes me want to cry.
Yeah, this the one.
That makes me want to cry. And you know what? Shout out to the brothers who've been watching and listening, because
y'all surprised me.
Our demographic shifted. It just completely shifted. And there are more men listening to this podcast than women. And I appreciate the sisters. I'm going to have to do a live or something and get the ladies to come on back in the room with us. But I feel like for men, that's, you know, we talk about all the time, you know, love and respect, and that men need respect and women need love.
Right.
But I think, ladies, there's nothing more honorable that you could say to your spouse, to your mate, to your partner than, babe, I got you. I got your back. Go ahead and do your dream.
Words.
Go ahead and do your dream. Step out on faith. We water walking together. I got you. Whatever it takes, however long, I got you. Like, just that affirmation, being able to say that. Because let me tell you something, ladies. The same way that we got a track playing in our minds, in our hearts, in our spirits, in our heads, the brothers got it too.
Yeah,
they hearing a tape every day too. And so when you can interrupt that tape, when you can look your man in the eye and say, I got you. I got your back. Don't worry about them people at work. I got your back.
Yeah.
Don't worry about them people in the frat. I got your back. Don't worry about them people at church. I got your back. If you can do that,
yeah, and we've had some lived.
You can go ahead and get on under the covers instead of laying on top of the covers. But anyway.
All right. We've had some, but no, seriously, we've had some lived experience with that.
Yeah, you know? Like, I got you. I got you.
You know, we had a time, and I'll just share, you know, we put it out there. We had a time when, you know, you had some situation on the job, and it came down to it.
Professional homicide is what we
professional
call
homicide is what we
it.
call
I
it.
got fired
And
a couple of times.
wrongful termination, as listed by the Commonwealth of Virginia.
That's the HR. That's the HR director coming out. That's the HR. That's the HR man coming out.
In the victorious court
We
files
were
in the
victorious.
Commonwealth.
Hallelujah.
Yes. Shout out to our lawyer. But it's like, she knows who she is.
Yes,
But it's like, we had that situation, and with 2 kids,
bills, tuition, house note, car notes, all of that.
And I was like, babe, don't worry. We're going to be all right. I got you.
I got you.
And, we got through it. And,
it's an aphrodisiac.
It is. It is.
It's kind of sexy.
I almost said something, but I almost said something.
Okay. Tell me after the podcast.
I would definitely tell you.
Tell me after the podcast.
All right. So, so that was recommitment. So the last one we're going to touch on this probably will be short, even though it needs a breath of conversation, is get help.
Absolutely.
Detoxing your relationship. If it's really one that is deep, get help. Find someone who can furnish you with the knowledge and that's needed in order to help you and your significant other in that situation.
And you know what? Just to be honest, and we're not, I know we gotta go, but sometimes you need a third person.
Yeah.
You need an outside party.
Yeah.
To help you see what you can't see, because you're so deep in it, you can't see it, right? And so it's whether it's a counselor or a coach or a mentor. We started this season of the podcast off talking about how community is important and how you need to wrap community around your relationship. You need to be part of a village, that you need to give that speak now card to somebody. So if you haven't seen all of those podcasts, if you haven't seen all of those videos, please go back and watch all of that stuff. You absolutely need to pray about, think about, talk about giving somebody a speak now card in your life. So even if you don't feel like you're married or you're partnered with somebody who's willing and able and ready to go to formal counseling, there's a lot of informal ways where someone can speak and encourage and support you in whatever season your marriage is in. We had the blessed opportunity a little while ago to honor an incredible woman of God on her birthday. Yeah. And I'm going to just say her name. Can I say her name?
Sure.
Cordelia Pelham. We absolutely love this woman. Her and her husband had been together almost 50 years, and Papa Joe transitioned right before our vow renewal.
Yeah.
And you know what? Their marriage is still teaching us.
Yeah.
Papa Joe is gone on to glory, but their marriage is still teaching us things. It's still talking to us. And I feel very confident that even prior to him passing, that had we been in trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
If we needed to go to Petersburg and say, we need a meeting with y'all, they would have said, come now.
Yeah.
Come now. Both of them would have said, come now.
Right.
Now, we honored 4 couples, and she and her and Papa Joe were part of that. But you got to have it, family.
Yeah.
Like that whole go talk to your girlfriend, that's fine. And it's fine, and it works for the moment. But if you really want to know how to come through, how to get through, how to grow through, you really, really need to invest time in a couple that's been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, understands where you're coming from, where he's coming from, and can help you wrap language around how to get from where you are to where you want to be.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yes. So thank you, Mama Delia. We love you, honey.
Yeah. So that's the get help.
That's the get help.
That sums it up quite well. And as we leave, I want to touch on one thing that I did found, which I thought was like, wow. And this was by Dr. Neil J. Is it Lavender?
Lavender.
Dr. Neil J. Lavender.
Dr. Lavender.
Dr. Lavender.
Dr. Lavender.
So soothing, Dr. Lavender.
Yes, Lavender.
Dr. Lavender has this thing called...
Come through with your lavender.
No, you didn't.
That's a meme. We're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that. But Dr. Lavender, never going to laugh when we say it. Dr. Lavender, he has this thing called the 1-minute marriage cleanse. And so I'll read what it says. Just think about Let's think or meditate about the things you like or love about your partner. They can be personality, or physical attributes. They can be things that they have achieved in their life or things both of you have done together. So you think on those things and then you put words behind those things.
So here's the thing, family. And I'm going to try not to be deep because my husband says I'm deep all the time.
You can't help it.
I'm going to try not to be deep.
You can't help it.
But this is in concert with some teaching that we've received from Esther Perel, who is the global relationship coach right now. And she was talking about how if you take that minute to focus on the things, to meditate on the things, to give care and attention to the ways that you honor and love your spouse, that it literally changes the DNA of your relationship.
Wow.
That if you can stop thinking about all the ways they tick you off and upset you and rattle your nerves, and set an intention to also take time to think about the ways that this person lights your fire, to think about the ways that the things that this person does that you respect, that you love, that you adore, that you cherish, that it can make a difference in the DNA of your relationship. She talked about how there's a distinct difference between, and I'm just going to use the wife-husband scenario, but this can go for any couple. If your husband is excited about a certain activity or a certain thing that they're passionate about, and you say, go ahead, babe, I'm so excited for you. Go ahead, do your thing. I'll be right here when you get back. Don't worry about nothing. I got home. You go do that. You go do that. You know what it does? It elevates that person. It makes them feel encouraged and supported. They go out there, they do their thing, and guess what they want to do when they're done? They want to come home. They want to come home and they want to tell you what happened, and they want to tell you how it went. They want to tell you how good they feel, and they believe that you want to listen.
Yeah.
That's scenario one. Scenario two is hubby goes out the door and you say, you're doing that again? And who's going to help me with these kids while you're gone? And who's going to cut the grass? And while you get to go have fun, what am I doing? You know what that makes that mate do? Not want to come home, not want to share with you, not want you to be a part of what brings them joy. So, ladies and gentlemen,
wow.
On the gentleman's side, it could be, you really going to that sorority meeting again? You really running off to the church again? But what about me? And what about these dishes? And what about the kids? And what about this? And what about that? It can go both ways, is my point.
Yeah.
But what we want to encourage you to do is that if you see something that your spouse, your partner, your mate is passionate about, they're good at it, right? What you want to do is encourage them to go do that.
Be a cheerleader.
Be their cheerleader.
Yeah.
Be their ambassador. Be the person that says, yeah, and you know what, boo? And you good at that. So go on and show them what you're working with, honey. Go on and do your thing. Go on and show them what you got. And when you finish, come home and tell me what happened. Because guess what they want to do? Come home and tell you what happened. And while they're there, they're not only at their best, they're exceptional because they want to come back and tell you, I went above and beyond. And let me tell you what I did. And let me tell you what the response was. But when you are negative in your communication as they leave, it makes them harder to go do what they're passionate about. It makes it harder for them to go do what they love. And it makes it harder for them to come home to you because now what they're going to be met with in their minds is a scowl and a complaint as opposed to love and adoration. And so, family, We want you to think about that the next time your husband wants to go play basketball, or your mate wants to go to a meeting, or your partner wants to go to a community thing, and that's not your thing. And it doesn't have to be your thing. If it's their thing and you see them thriving in it and they're good at it and they're supported when they get there, but they're not supported before they leave, then that's what makes them not want to come home fast. But if they can go and they can do their thing and they be like, fellas, let me, you know what? I know y'all want to go catch a drink, or I know y'all want to go and hang out in the parking lot, but you know what? I got to go home. I got to go home because I got somebody waiting on me, and she want to hear, or he want to hear the whole thing about how I just showed my gift in front of y'all. So I catch y'all at the next thing. I'll be back. That makes a difference, family. It makes an entire difference in how the relationship grows and prospers when you can celebrate one another's gifts. You can celebrate the differences, and you can celebrate the things that you do apart.
I got nothing.
It's so good.
All of that.
Family, we make all this stuff harder than it needs to be, honey. We make it harder than it needs to be, but okay.
So that's detoxing your relationship.
Yes. And please detox.
So we're going to hit them all again. I'm going to call them out. With number one is detox your marriage by forgiving past offensive, which is forgiving, period. Detox your marriage by being honest with your spouse. Number 3 is inspire change. Number 4, recommitment. Number 5 is get help.
When you need it.
When you need it.
And we hope these videos help. We hope this podcast helps.
Yes. We hope they inspire change.
Absolutely.
We do. We hope they inspire change. And so, family, that's it. We want you all to try the 1-minute challenge. Try the 1-minute challenge and let us know how it worked for you.
Have that moment.
So, hey, as we said in the intro, if you have not subscribed, please do so. Hit that bell so you get the notification. Please share with someone, because our goal is to reach as many couples as possible.
Yes.
So we thank you for watching. I am Uncle Frank.
And I am Auntie Sheila.
And we thank you for watching Soulful Conversations with Frank and Sheila. Happy cleansing.
Take care, family, and be well.
Be well. Peace.
Bye-bye.